Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I came back on here to rant a little bit more about the Chris Watts case and the manipulated information that is being put out by Kim as well as Lana. And just Jay for Justice because she should know the truth too. So this is how Kim operates. She says that basically that Chris Watts, well, one of the things that Chris Watts was going to switch from 8 days to 6 days. This is proof that he was, they were going to get divorced. He was doing all these things. He was switching his schedule. First of all, everybody, all the guys were about to switch to a different schedule. Everybody that was going to be left, that is, because what a lot of people do not know is the day that the murders happened and the morning that they got put in the fields, Nicole Kessinger and 11 other people, their contracts were ending. So they were no longer going to be working there. Nicole Kessinger said that she thought she was going to lose her job. Yeah, she thought she was going to lose her job because her contract was already ending. She knew they weren't going to keep her. She was trying to pretend and garner sympathy and be a victim like she's been her whole life, plays the victim role just like Chris. But she frames that like it's evidence that he was planning to working it out so he would have the girls. Let's say as well, the stuff about his GPS being a little wonky, what he said to his boss, that wasn't because he was leaving Shanann and he might be leaving her or something like that. No, it's because he was parking it down the street by Nate's so that the cameras were on his truck because there were people in the neighborhood stealing tools. Those are the kind of things that she does. She takes little bits of information and she lies. A little bit of truth with lies, how manipulative people are. First of all, it was pretty clear that she probably wasn't in contact with him anymore, at least just because of how fangirly she was about it. Like, I'll talk to Chris about that. I'll talk to Chris about that tonight. I was just on the phone with him and I was like, it's too much, girl. You're trying to sell it a little too much. You're a little too cocky with it. Temper it down. She focuses on things like for instance, the paternity of the baby that Shanann was pregnant with. She says that it's important to the Watts because, they could potentially have another grandbaby. Well, he's dead, because their son killed him when he killed Shanann. So what does it matter? What does it matter and what bearing does it have on the murder of Shanann and her children? It does not have any murder. The baby didn't come out of her womb and kill everybody. Unimportant. She focuses on those kind of, you see, that's just it, guys. That's just it. We need all this. Like, Chris didn't have his day in court. Chris didn't have his day in court because Chris confessed. And then Chris had his defense, not the prosecution, but the defense came to the prosecution with a deal, trying to get a deal. The prosecution went and asked the Rushiks if they were going to be okay with that, if they were comfortable with the deal that they were going to be offering him. That is what happened. He said, Chris Watts said that he decided that he needed to take a deal when they came and took his footprints and his feet print and all of that. And he knew that day he needed to take a plea deal. Why do you think that is, Kim? Do you think it's because there was other people's footprints and feet prints and handprints in the house? Do you think that there's something that is evidence of somebody's involvement, like the person that you're protecting so vehemently, like people asking you, why aren't you going through Nicole Kessinger stuff? Why are you just doing that to NA? Because they're what they want to do is mix a little bit of truth with lies and have you focus on something else. Take your focus off of Nicole Kessinger. She was innocent. Well, she wasn't. And you aren't. You are just as much of a ring around the rosies. I can't answer any questions that actually might make me be straightforward and legit. She claims that she wants to have, productive conversations where people can have a difference of opinion. People can have a difference of opinion all day, every day on my channel. But what you will do is speak factually, because it's not opinions if it's not a fact. Like you said, you take emotions out of it. Well, that's just straight facts, not adding your little spin on it at the end. That's pampering it for the way you want it, and you know that. I mean, you're terrible. And Karma's a bitch, a bigger bitch than you are. An appeal couldn't happen unless he was exposing corruption. And the only way that he could be exposing corruption is if he tells where that corruption came from and he tells the truth, and that's not the truth. That Shanann killed the kids. He has no legitimate proof of that. Right? You said, well, he had just killed Shanann. Why would he call the police? Um, Shanann's lungs were collapsed. Cece's lungs were collapsed. Well, that proves that Shanann killed Cece. Like, that's just the dumbest shit that I've ever heard. Um, um, you know, I believe that one of the children was throwing a big tantrum. Bella, probably, because she's the more frightened one and she had the most injuries, which, Kim says, well, Chris is so emotional, like he didn't even want to hear it. But you say that he put them in the oil tanks himself and he just did it. He wasn't even thinking. Well, that's a lot of fucking unaccountability that he has, lack of self-awareness. I understand that you're probably just in defense mode and this isn't something you believe, it's something you're trying to sell, but there is no way that you can shape it for it to make legitimate sense and to do anything legally for Chris, because he was given a polygraph test. He goes through he went through normal things that literally everybody who's interrogated goes through. Tammy Lee is not a jury member, so Tammy Lee does not need to be an unbiased party. Tammy Lee did her job, kinda. I mean, he pretty much handed it to him, and that was the plan because they wanted to try. And then she says that his lawyers were like, when you're ready to file a 35C, let us know. So they prompted him to take a plea deal, and then had the audacity to say, when you're ready to file a 35C, let us know. That's like the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Again. So, let's see. You speak about Shanann's emotional state and how emotional she was and how her friends were worried about her. Like, that's something that's unusual. So you're telling me that you've been in a marriage for 6, 7 years, 8 years, however long they were together. Sorry about my nose, y'all. But they are basically blindsided because because he didn't speak up and say anything, Shanann because Chris didn't speak up and say anything, Shanann didn't know that there was something wrong with their marriage. She was literally blindsided. It was all new. And how would you feel? You insensitive fucking bitches. How dare y'all? Y'all really are some bitter bitches. Because I can't even fathom. I could not even fathom feeling that, just even being that kind of human, to be honest with you. Um, she was very much clearly emotional. She was upset. She didn't understand where all of this was coming from. But she would have basically, she would have moved on with her life. She would have picked up. It would have been sad, but it wasn't the end all be all for her because she could move on. She could build herself back up again. It's really hard, and like she said yesterday or whatever day it was, they call them people shiners. I guess I would be considered one. I'm assuming. I don't know, because they support Shanann or they feel like they holier than thou Shanann. I don't holier than thou Shanann. I'm not dumb. I know we all contribute, but to basically vilify her when the Shanann and Chris, or the Chris that was with Shanann for all that time. Well, he never murdered anybody, but the Chris that was with Nicole Kessinger, because he's a chameleon and he changes and he follows and he's agreeable, like you say. Well, I mean, Nicole Kessinger's Chris killed, not Shanann's. Y'all act like Shanann changed. She didn't change. He changed, not her. I mean, he's not that great. He's not that great. There's, and then, I mean, Things that would be pressing to look into. I mean, the fact that 11 other people and Nicole Kessinger's contracts were going to be ending that day with Anna Darko. The fact that Troy McCoy went back to the site and was very nervous in renditioning why he did, talking about his dry mouth and the dentures that he had. He was real freaking nervous. His wife sold Thrive. She wasn't very good at it, but she was working underneath Shanann. Why didn't she call Shanann? Why haven't we heard from her? These are questions that should be asked. Nicole Kessinger, she seems to have been psychic, because she just so happened to predict the way that Chris Watts would say that him killing the girls came about. Very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. Nicole Kessinger asked the detectives, if she's going to have to remember every little bitty detail, if it takes it to trial. She was very concerned about a trial. And then when she's talking about the defense, she says, I don't want to talk to them because I think either they're going to try to find holes in my story, or they're going to want me to be Chris's only ally, and I don't want to deal with either one of them. If there is no holes to find in your story, then what the fuck are you so worried about? Oh, I mean, listen, I get it. It's a hard pillow. It is a hard pill to swallow as a woman, a grown ass woman, that you're out here in the free world and Shanann's gone. You got what she wanted. He's all there for the taking, whatever. But then he don't even want you. He doesn't want anything to do with you. Even if you were the last person on the earth, he wouldn't want you. But you're fangirling it up. You and old. Not even gonna go there. All I have to say is y'all need to get down on your knees and do some praying to God that your dirty little souls are saved and that you can heal. And find some damn light, because you miserable bitches are only going to get miserable with the drugs and alcohol that you buy from the success of the channel that you have. Chris Watts, Revelations and the Reckoning. You're reckoning. You're reckoning anything, because you suck. Okay, you suck. Just quite honestly, you seem like you might have a great way with words if you, I don't know, maybe did less drugs or something. I don't know what it is that you need to do, but I think that's it. Think logically. Take emotions out of it. Take your hate for Shanann for whatever reason. Take it out of it. And just look at it regular. How about that? And do something to make you feel better. Do something where you're not just a miserable bitch and spending your time hating a dead person. That's some ultimate revenge, ain't it? She dead, and you just can't get her off your mind. You still can't get rid of her. All right, guys. You guys have a nice day.